And
Does it smell like liquor? Are you drinking?
No.
Oh. Yo, ever since Saturday night,
What's the matter?
all the
What
Jack
is
Daniels
wrong
that I
with you?
drank, I've been smelling Jack Daniels like every. I've been walking around like, this smells like Jack Daniels. Is it?
like no more drinking for a little while.
Oh my god. Jeez. All right, so we're gonna start this one off. Our top 5. Right, you're starting a wrestling company in the year 1995. Mm-hmm. Who are your top 5 wrestlers that you're taking to start your new company? And it cannot be wrestlers from now. It has to be wrestlers from 1995 and above.
So they were basically wrestling in 1995. So
Correct.
you could draft them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to take this one off?
Are we doing
want-
one by one?
I think we just do lists.
Yeah,
Let's-
I'll
list-
go
listers
through.
out.
I'm ready.
Yep.
I'm very ready for this.
Okay,
to
let's
start
hear it.
my own promotion.
Okay.
In the Clinton presidency. Okay. Number 1 draft choice, obviously, without a doubt, is Shawn Michaels, HBK.
Again, every episode we're going to talk about how good Shawn Michaels is.
He's great.
And how's in everyone's list.
We're
He's also,
this,
also really good at booking wrestling.
Here's the goal. The goal is we're going to talk about Shawn Michaels on every podcast, wrestling podcast, to finally have one day Shawn Michaels on this podcast.
I don't think that's a lofty expectation.
Yeah, we
that's
can do that.
realistic.
Okay, number 1, Shawn Michaels, you're drafting.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is number 1. Number 2, in 1995, I think Scott Hall is
That's a
a
good
guy
pick.
that you absolutely need. You need him in your promotion.
You're just going to draft the click, are you?
Well, I mean, Kevin Nash is in here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Diesel was a powerhouse in 95. He was great.
He was a powerhouse.
I love that Diesel Brett match. You know.
So did I. Big fan.
Yeah. I mean, Diesel was great. So, Foley as well. We've established we love Mick Foley here, and I think in 1995 he's an ECW at that point, right before he goes to the WWF, and that his ECW run is great. And then number 5, Sting. I think Sting. Sting. Unfortunately, Sting spent most of his career outside of the WWE, and I'm not a WWE only kind of guy. I appreciate other promotions and everything, but I think had Sting been there in the 90s, he would have had a better career overall. That's what I think. I love the whole Crow Sting run in WCW, and I think that was great up until Starrcade '97. But I think had he jumped ship to WWF after that, rest of his career he'd be much better remembered. So that's who I start my promotion with in '95. Those are my 5 guys, and I had a lot of guys on the cusp who just missed the cut.
Who would the championship belt go to carry the
Number
company?
1?
Number 1?
You're saying
Like
who
within
would-
that group, like who would you give the belt to?
Oh, you start with Nash for
Nash.
sure. Killer, big heel, yeah. In '95, totally.
Okay.
And then you've got Hall is like your tweener guy who can go back and forth. Foley and Nash are your big heels, both like 2 different kind of characters. That you got the big powerhouse killer in Nash, and then you got the psychological guy in Foley as the heel. You could be Cactus Jack or Mankind, and then you got Sting and HBK as your top 2 baby faces. I think that's in '95.
I think that's a good
That's
promotion.
money, baby.
That's a good promotion.
What you got?
1995. You know who I would draft number 1?
Don't say it.
Eric, say it. Say it.
Just call this the Shawn Michaels
It's the
podcast.
Shawn Michaels podcast. Shawn Michaels,
Yep.
Mr. HBK himself. And then I would go and get Eddie Guerrero.
In '95.
In
That's
95.
ambitious.
That's high-flying Eddie
Get
Guerrero,
him
not
young,
super
yeah.
bulky.
Yeah.
That
was before the steroids. When he was
Way
skinny.
before the
He was
steroids.
skinny with the mullet.
Yeah.
He looked like Dom looks now.
He didn't
Yes.
take
Like his
steroids.
son.
He just basically hit the gym.
You don't
got a
think
little
Eddie
bit
took
bigger.
steroids?
Listen, that's a lot of beans and tortillas the man ate. So he got big, My next guy would be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
I would bring
It would be
Austin.
stunning Steve Austin.
It would be stunning Steve Austin.
Soon
yes.
to be the ringmaster.
Soon to be the ringmaster.
Boring gimmick.
And
of
I
all
would
time.
bring in what I felt like was a weird gimmick at that time, The Undertaker. You know, that would be my big powerhouse.
What
in
was
there.
Undertaker doing in '95?
He was The Undertaker.
I know, but like, who did he?
Was that the Yokozuna feud?
WrestleMania. Who did
Or
he
that
wrestle?
King Kong Bundy?
That was
95? That was Yokozuna.
No.
No, Yokozuna was Survivor. I think.
Who the hell did
He may have missed
that? Was
that year.
WrestleMania 11.
Then he may have missed that. No, he may have missed that year. I don't know.
Taker?
He missed a
Because
WrestleMania.
'94 was when he did the Taker versus Taker at SummerSlam with him and Crush, where he wrestled himself. What the hell?
It's
was Taker?
either King Kong Bundy or he missed it.
What did Taker do in '95? I feel like he was out.
Because
for
when
a
did he
while.
have the Yokozuna match where he got killed?
Oh,
Remember when they said he died?
that was
It was
94.
94. He missed 94
Okay.
due to a legitimate injury. And 2000.
Yeah, I remember that he wasn't there, but then he came back as Biker Taker after WrestleMania
Biker
2000.
Taker.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I would go and I would I considered this as a one kind of thing. I would bring a tag team in and I would bring in Harlem Heat.
Oh, okay.
You know? So, and then with Harlem Heat, then, Stevie Ray goes off and then now I have Booker T with the company.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
you train them, you prime them. So,
All right.
and then with that one, I would start the belt off with Shawn Michaels, and I would end that year with Eddie Guerrero climbing the ladder.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be very wild.
Yeah.
Very wild of a company.
My company, this is for me. I'm not doing this to impress anyone. This is just for what I want to see.
Wait, this is what we wanted to see in our company.
It just sounds like you're trying to make money and you're trying to make smart
well,
decisions.
I'm trying to run a business.
Yeah, you're trying to run a business. He's clearly trying to run a business. I'm not.
I'm trying to capitalize on the .com boom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. I'm just trying to watch what I want to watch. First wrestler drafted is New Jack. I want to see New Jack telling white people he's happy O.J. Simpson killed one of them. I want that heel heat, unbelievable heel heat, all over the place, and I want people tuning in because they can't believe it. And then number 2, for some reason, I don't know why, big British Bulldog mark when I was in 1995. I was all about the. He turned heel, but he had the dreadlocks, and then he turned heel on Diesel, I think. Yeah, that was a bad heel turn for me as a kid. That was rough.
I love Bulldog too. I never loved the tassels. I didn't think I don't like the tassels.
The tassels were a thing, my
I
friend.
liked it because it matched the
I
dreads.
just don't like it. I just never. It's not my thing. But actually, I kind of love. I kind of love Bulldog's look in, what was it, 2000, where he was just wearing the jeans and the boots.
It looked like he just gave up.
I was kind of cool though.
Wait,
dude.
did he have his dog then?
No,
he never
didn't
did
have
the
a
dog since.
No, but he feuded with The Rock, and he just looked like a day laborer who wandered into the ring. Like,
Cutting lumber.
yeah, dude, that was fucking great.
Number 3, another one of my favorites of all time, Great Muta. Definitely get the Great Muta with the face paint and the mist and all that good stuff. Just a big fan of guys that bring that Undertaker style aura, that kind of like push the boundaries of creativity in pro wrestling. And then I think this is 5 or 4.
5.
5. Okay.
You can bring a tag team in.
No, I'm gonna get to a tag team.
All right.
But Yokozuna. Yokozuna is someone I didn't appreciate until like last year. Until I started rewatching some
Until
older
we
stuff.
found out he was Samoan, part of the
Well, I knew he was
bloodline.
Samoan. I think I knew.
Whoa.
I knew there was something was up when he was clearly not Asian. Like,
His name is Yokozuna.
but like Yokozuna today. Imagine if Yokozuna, the same man, the same athlete, showed up in NXT right now. The type of matches he could have.
Oh my God.
You know, with these guys that can like bump for him and stuff like that, and he can keep up. You know, that prime Yokozuna, like. I'm a big fan of wrestlers that you just don't see copies of because you can't make a copy of Yokozuna.
Yeah, that's a physical copy. You can't
Right,
like-
exactly. And then number 5, the Steiner brothers. Very easy.
yeah.
Let's just like drop people on their heads and flex and wear colorful outfits. Like let's
And
go.
bark. And
Yeah,
bark
yeah,
at
yeah,
people.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, if we were gonna have a world champion, I'm gonna get weird. I'm gonna make Scott Steiner win the world title. But
I don't think that's weird.
okay, but like I'm not talking about the Scott Steiner with the blonde hair. I'm talking about Steiner brothers Scott Steiner with the
mullet. Okay, that is
mullet.
weird.
Yeah, and he's gonna win it. And
but there is a world where those guys, are booked as like singles acts in that time, and they get over as these fucking killer, amateur wrestler guys. Like absolutely, that
right? You could see it, right?
It could have worked. The blonde hair though, and the the medieval cap and the whole shit, and when he stopped wearing the colorful shit, like. There's maybe no cooler wrestler of all time than Scott Steiner in
Would you have
2000.
had Scott Steiner cut the promo in '95? You got 33rd?
No. So I'm assuming I'm taking these guys in '95.
Yeah,
I'm taking these guys in '95. So
got 33rd.
Scott Steiner, raw Scott Steiner.
And the feud of the year is Scott Steiner Yokozuna, just going back and forth, just like. Scott Steiner selling the buns I dropped.
Scott Steiner New Jack promo battle would be.
That's how we end the year.
Actually, I don't know why, but when you mentioned New Jack, I just thought I was like, who's like the most diametrically like opposite of New Jack, and I was like, New Jack versus Bob Backlund would be fucking great.
Wow. Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be.
That would actually be.
That's a one and done. I feel like.
Yeah.
That can't be a
in the ECW arena.
Oh.
That would be fucking killer.
Yeah. Did you ever see New Jack versus Gypsy Joe? Did you ever see what happened?
So. Oh, was that was on Dark Side?
Yeah. And then
yeah.
New Jack snapped on him.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like the Bob Backlund match may end up that way.
Yeah.
Was that the
Bob
one where he
might have
tased
been able
him?
to fucking kill him.
No, that was Vic Grimes. The Gypsy Joe, he just started battering him with a bat for real.
Oh my god. Yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, now we know what we started our company off. Eric is definitely raising a
I'm just watching
underground
it for me.
wrestling.
I'm just watching it for me. I don't, you guys are running businesses. My company stopped like first show. Boom.
He hires all these wrestlers in his basement and he just sits there alone and watches.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Oh my god. I think we're gonna go into our 5 worst wrestlers that you enjoy.
Oh, that's great.
Your top 5 wrestlers. These are guys that are horrible as wrestlers, but you could sit there and watch them over and over.
I mean, there's guys that like. I thought about this because there's people that would say The Miz is a horrible wrestler, and I don't agree with that at all. But I can respect if you think that. So let's just be.
But do you enjoy Miz because he's a horrible wrestler? Then yes, he is a horrible wrestler. But if you enjoy Miz for things he does well,
no, I think Miz does a lot of things really well.
But are you enjoying it?
Not a whole lot.
There we go.
But like, I think there's examples of really good Miz matches that I can be like, I would sit there and watch that over again. Like that was good. So, but anyway, he's not in. I'll start off, but. My top 5.
Wait, Miz wasn't in that?
No,
oh,
he's not.
Well,
because
you
I
made
think
a whole spiel that he
yeah,
was.
because I was saying some people
Okay.
say he's a horrible wrestler. I don't.
Okay.
But the Boogeyman. I love the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
I love a gimmick like that. I'll never forget when he ate the growth off of Jillian Hall's face on SmackDown. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did he eat off of her face?
She had a growth.
She had a growth. So, do you remember Jillian Hall? She was with JBL in the cabinet, and
Oh, okay. Well, let me interject for a second. There's a part of my life that I just stopped watching wrestling for a little bit, and that's like in the mid 2000s. But I do know some.
Okay,
I
so
know the Boogeyman. I know all
anyway,
that.
Jillian Hall was around for a little while.
Yeah.
At one point, she had a gimmick where this is so Vince McMahon. She had a growth on her face that was just this like gross red mass that ran down her face, and the Boogeyman ate it. So.
What do you say to that?
I say that my number 2 is Chris Masters. I like Chris Masters. I like the Master Lock Challenge. The dude's pecs were fucking unbelievable. Like, they were bowling balls. His deltoids were fucking unreal. Chris Masters was great. I thought he was going to be a lot bigger than he ended up being. Number 3, Road Dogg.
Oh,
Road Dogg.
I like him.
Objectively a horrible wrestler. He had like 3 moves and the bad Dusty Rhodes punches.
Yes, yeah. I
His
remember that
physique
one.
was terrible.
He was a great rapper, though.
He was very pale and he looked sickly for most of the Attitude Era, but he was really entertaining. So yeah, that's and then I've got Viscera, Big Daddy V,
That's a good one.
Mabel.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I don't really. I did not care for him as Mabel. Mabel's fucking boring. Let's be real here. Mabel sucks. But when he came back, Viscera in the Ministry.
Yes.
This dude, like, come on. He
just
looked like
stood there.
Fat Morpheus. Like he was. This guy was so entertaining. His splash looked like it would literally kill you. So that's Viscera, and then number 5. I like the Brooklyn Brawler. I'm a Brooklyn Brawler guy.
Yeah.
Classic.
When he beat Triple H, that was fucking great. And
Brooklyn Brawler.
yeah, there's no better jobber than the Brooklyn Brawler.
Jeez.
So
So my, like, considered worst wrestlers that you would enjoy. Number 5 would be the Great Khali. Just big for nothing, tall. The only thing that I really like watching was when he just squishes people's heads. But it's not the way how it was not the Khali doing it. It was watching the reaction off of the wrestlers playing this off.
didn't
as
when
if
he,
their
didn't
heads
he when
getting
he
crushed.
squeezed Ray's head, they had like a blood pack, like he had like blood coming out of his mouth.
But it covered Ray's whole head. So it was like Great Khali was just like one of those. And then you remember the one what he did with the what was it, the bamboo match?
Oh, the Punjabi prison.
The Punjabi prison match.
Yeah.
That was a good one and
He
done.
didn't even wrestle in that.
It was just weird.
It was supposed to be him and Undertaker, and then they had this weird thing going on. I think it had to do with the steroids everybody was taking, where he tested positive for liver enzymes before the show. It was like him and Bobby Lashley and a few other guys, and they all couldn't wrestle at the pay-per-view. And they've been building up this Taker and Great Khali feud. It doesn't make any sense that anyone else would have a match with Taker in this, Indian gimmick that they have going on. But they put the Big Show in there. And they had Taker versus Big Show in the first ever Punjabi prison match. It's great. Go watch it.
Now, number 4 would be Goldberg.
Yeah.
I think Goldberg's bad.
Yeah,
I do.
It's horrible. Watch Goldberg fight William Regal in a 6-minute match.
I did.
You can see that Goldberg didn't know how to wrestle.
the online
I
circle
think
jerk about this recently.
the one thing about Goldberg.
I'm sorry, but William Regal was so unprofessional to do that.
Oh, but he's a wrestler.
He was so unprofessional to do that.
No, he fucking called him out.
To your,
Who's
to
gonna
your
stand
money,
there?
your
Is he gonna
draw.
stand there with Goldberg, just like
Goldberg
and
is
then
a
Goldberg
star.
draw?
I don't think he was a draw by then, was he?
He was on the way. He was a U.S. champion already. Okay, so he was on the way.
The only reason why he became
was
a
months
star
away. I think he
is
was like
because
3 months
they gave
away
him the
from-
record, and they start, oh, he's 3-0, oh, he's 5-0, he's 10-0.
All right, I watched that match when it was going around, and I was like,
You think
I'm
Goldberg
sorry,
is a
but
good
I think
wrestler?
Goldberg is hanging with him here.
No.
Yes.
No.
I
Can
think
you
there's
back me
more
up
to
on
it.
this
Wait,
one?
no,
Goldberg's terrible. I don't really.
I mean, the only reason why I like Goldberg to watch him is the way how he injures himself
Yeah.
in wrestling matches.
Listen, the best Goldberg match of all time is Hogan and Goldberg.
Hell yeah, that is fucking
And
great.
that was all Hogan. You could just tell Hogan was just like, let me guide you to the glory.
Let me show you, son.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And
it's
that's
like-
it wasn't like I don't know what else besides. Listen, I love a good Goldberg squash match next to the next guy, but like other than that, like would you have? Didn't he have an okay match with Sid and maybe an okay match with DDP, and then everything else he's known for is fuck ups?
Yeah.
Like you can't have that many highlight reel fuck ups and be that famous and not be known as a shitty wrestler. You know, even like guys that aren't like good athletes. I mean, good quote unquote wrestlers like Hulk Hogan aren't known for fucking things up the way Goldberg is known for fucking things up. So to say you can enjoy a good Goldberg squash match, yes, but you can also say he's a bad wrestler because he's hurt a lot of people.
My number 3 would be.
Like who? You talked to the Undertaker.
Listen,
You're watching the whole Undertaker.
No, I was wondering if there was someone specific that you had in mind that Goldberg
that
had
Taker
hurt.
match was the one that Goldberg gave himself a concussion
That
by
was
running
fucking
it.
Yeah. But that was
And then
funny.
he gave Undertaker a
But
concussion.
you know what? That was one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen for all the wrong
That's
reasons.
why I
It
feel
was
like Goldberg-
unbelievable.
This is a
All the
wrong
wrong
reasons
reasons.
list.
Yeah.
This is a wrong reasons list.
My number 3 would be Santino Marella.
I don't know.
I
He's
feel
not
like he
bad
was
to
more
me.
of a comedian than a
But he
wrestler.
did everything
I
right.
love,
But he's
well,
not like a bad wrestler.
I think
He's actually really, you know, like.
I think
just
because he's a comedy actor.
I think
I see
that's
where-
why.
I see
yes,
where you could- yeah.
It was putting a puppet sock on. And
Yeah,
like,
but
you know,
He's
just
really
like-
good at that.
I mean,
know,
Mick Foley
his
was good at
movements
putting on a
are-
sock. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I know what you mean.
When
He's
Santino was in the final 2 of the Royal Rumble, though, do you remember?
Yeah.
Del Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the 2 names we just said that was in the final of the Royal Rumble. You know that was a bad
I
year
know,
for
but
WWE.
everybody was like, for a minute there, they were like, "Holy shit, Santino's going to
They
win."
should have
People
done it
were
that
going
year.
nuts. People were
Because
losing.
Del Rio won that year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
who cares?
It was very boring.
Number 2, Steve Blackman.
Steve Blackman's not bad.
He's
Steve
kinda
Blackman.
He's kinda
You
bad.
watch any
The
Steve Blackman.
Lethal Weapon? He's
Listen,
kinda
listen.
bad.
You watch any lethal. You know, you're making me say it now. Any Steve Blackman match. It looks like a scene from an action movie.
Yeah.
The way how he always did everything. So the song he came out to was like a techno afro song.
Sick,
Right?
sick entrance.
And then for 5, well, I'm exaggerating, but for like 5 minutes he would stand there with these sticks in his hands,
Yeah.
just twirling them
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
as everybody just watches him.
Right.
And then with a face of stone cold, no emotion, walk down and do a 15-minute movie scene.
Right. Right.
That was Steve Blackman.
Did you
Alright,
actually
but look-
watch Steve Blackman matches though to this day, because you enjoy, or you
He
just
actually,
listen?
I like.
I put on a couple last night just to make sure I was right about this, and I was.
You
I
know,
was
you're not
right.
the first person to say rewatch some Steve Blackman, because what it was explained to me is like he lands some shots that you don't think he's like are supposed to be pro wrestler shots. And like,
It was an action movie. You know, he probably watched the Jackie Chan movie before he came out to have a fight.
I won't allow any head cheese slander over here, though, if we're gonna get to that.
Oh yeah,
So,
right.
Okay.
yeah.
Number 1, Vince McMahon.
Fair enough.
He was a horrible wrestler, but you just love to watch him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a horrible wrestler, but he's been in some good matches.
He has
Yeah, because
great
everybody
Not
always
because of
cared.
him,
Yeah.
I
It's-
guess.
No.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, no, not a good wrestler.
I think Vince
But he's
was
been in good
he's
matches.
one of the
Yeah.
worst wrestlers, but you enjoy.
But Goldberg was in a great match with Hogan, like I said. So you don't have to be a great
Yes.
wrestler to have a great match.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but name how many great Goldberg matches are there?
I named them.
I
Yeah,
think
there's
we can do-
not-
I
there's
think
not
we
a
can
lot
do
of great
we can do a whole
Goldberg
podcast
matches.
about Goldberg.
Yeah. I just think people want to hate on Bill Goldberg.
It's not like you want
I know. I
There's
can honestly
evidence.
say a lot of people I knew who grew up watching wrestling organically started to hate Goldberg in WCW, and then it just never ended. So I think I don't. Could it be part of a trend now to hate Goldberg? Sure, but he doesn't do himself any favors. He's a little bit of a douchebag. You know,
Yeah, you
in
ever
the
seen his
podcast.
interviews now?
He's a little cringe.
No.
Very, very like oh yeah, I'm Goldberg, blah 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 blah, like horrible, like
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
Goldberg. But yeah, Vince McMahon. I mean, he had some, undeniably memorable moments. I mean, he's just like, he's just.
Well, it wasn't
he has
even
two
a
left
match.
feet in the ring, though. That's
or
what
he
it is.
tore both of his quads by getting
Yeah.
into the ring.
Right. But
Who would you got, Eric?
so I'm gonna open up with Mark Henry. I am not. exactly. Mark
You don't like
Henry.
him, Mark Henry? You think he's a really bad wrestler?
No, he's a good.
Oh,
wrestler.
okay, good,
This is a
good.
bad
Yeah,
wrestler
yeah, it's
list.
like-
This is
isn't
a bad.
it?
Mark Henry's a bad wrestler.
No, he's not.
Really?
Like, how many matches are you watching with Mark Henry? For like, if you're going, I was like, hey, I want to watch a good match tonight.
Just
I'm gonna put
because-
on Mark Henry. Come on. All
right.
But I enjoy him. I'm saying he's a bad
Just
wrestler.
because
that
I can't
enjoy.
remember like any Mark, I can tell you that his run as world
champ.
champion was really good. I liked that. I
Sexual
can't
chocolate.
remember any individual matches, but at the same time, I mean, how's he a bad? I'll give you this. I did not like Mark Henry for the first 10 years of his career. I don't think he hit his stride until 2006.
All right. My next one is Sid. He is my favorite bad wrestler of all time.
I love that. That's great.
Sid is my all-time favorite bad wrestler. He stabbed people in the back and powerbomb people in the ring. Number 3, I'm gonna throw out Doink the Clown. Does he count as a bad wrestler?
It was all gimmick, no wrestling, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like the Matt Bourne.
Yeah.
Matt Bourne was a good wrestler.
It was I thought
but
Doink the Clown,
the character is like, not really a good wrestler.
I thought they just needed to
good
give
psychology.
him longer.
Like
He should, if he was a heel, and Matt Bourne, I think something happened with him where he couldn't do it anymore. They could have kept him a heel for another year or 2. I think they would have had gold. I really do.
I like Doink.
My next one would be, is he a bad?
Don't second guess it.
Is Scott Norton a bad wrestler?
Scott Norton.
Scott Norton sucks.
Okay. I like Scott Norton.
The worst part of the NWO.
Because he had the barrel chest. He had the
sucked.
biggest chest in pro wrestling.
He went to Japan though.
Yeah, he was a big Japan.
Right?
His matches in Japan are a lot better.
I'm sure.
Because he's the type of guy, if he can't beat the fuck out of you, he's not going to have a good match.
I fucking hated Scott Norton.
And then my last one, a little bit of
a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, because he's
Scott
a fucking
Norton.
black hole of charisma. He's terrible.
Scott Flash Norton.
Yeah.
That was his nickname.
Yeah.
Flash Norton.
Flash.
And I'm just gonna say Big Show. I'm a big fan of the Big Show punch, the slow moving punch.
Yeah.
He reminds me of an even bigger King Kong Bundy, who also sucked. So, but like I just like, he just sucked. But like he's such an attraction that it just, you're like, all right, this is acceptable. Like everything he sucked at, you're like, all right, okay, I can watch this.
Every Big Show promo that I ever watched with him talking was always my favorite because the amount of spit that this guy gave off on camera was like, go and watch a Big Show, watch him talk when he's angry.
I have a memory that I can't tell if I made it up in my head or if this actually happened on a Raw. Maybe you guys could remember this, but where they were doing like a Big Show promo and he got so mad that steam came out of his ears.
What?
Do you have any recollection of this?
I don't, but I want to.
No.
All right,
I want to.
I'm going to look this up later, but I have this in my head, and I'm like, that definitely happened, right? But I'm also like, how did they do that? What was the practical effect that they used? But, Big Show.
You looking it up?
No, I'm just texting. Sorry.
You could just ask.
Wait, you guys don't even have to like pay attention. You guys can be tired.
It was very distracting the way you did that. Because you waited until he brought up something you wasn't sure existed, and you dove in.
All right.
Big Show, steam coming out of ears.
Big Show, Les ears.
Do we have it? Does it exist? Does Big Show have a medical condition?
Big Show steam out of ears. The ring collapse during Big Show and Braun Strowman.
How is Mark Henry not a
Big
good
Show throw
not a
Kurt
bad
Angle
wrestler?
off the
What do you mean?
balcony?
Mark Henry's a bad wrestler.
No, he's not.
Yes, what is a great Mark Henry match that I missed? Like he's good for beating
really
the fuck out of people.
Okay, but when you say like, what's a great match? It's like, I don't know. You could ask me like, what's
My criteria for a good match is I'm rewatching it.
Some
on
fans
its own
consider
merit.
Mark Henry's match with Sheamus at SummerSlam 2011. Or his win over Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship at Night of Champions 2011. And his big man match.
I liked his run in ECW.
Who?
Mark Henry.
We don't consider that ECW.
I know, the WWE.
Oh,
ECW.
yeah, I was completely confused.
No. I liked that. No, I mean, just the other day I was watching clips of the Mark Henry Mae Young romantic entanglement that they were in. I was at the Raw when she got powerbombed off the stage by Bubba Ray. That was the same one.
He just
Dean
stood there
Malenko
staring
won
at
the
the
light
camera.
heavyweight championship on that Raw.
Oh, hey, fun fact. Mark Henry has a 2-0 record against The Rock.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Yeah. 2-0, yeah. Mark Henry and Mysterio created a unique spot that became known as the Mark Henry spot.
That John Cena used on The Rock at WrestleMania.
Ah.
What is it?
The
What's the spot?
catch the crossbody.
Oh, the rollover.
And then throw up.
Yeah, that's. Mark Henry came up with that?
Yeah.
Oh, not so bad, is he?
All right.
Sorry, it just came up. Who is stronger, Brock Lesnar or Mark Henry?
Now you're just.
All right, everybody, welcome. That was
Mark
the show.
Henry.
Wrestling is real.
Yeah.
This is Calvin and Andrew, and that's our shitty wrestlers. Thank you.